Hello. Today we're going to go through another one of True Mother's speeches. This was from February 13, 2022 at the World Summit in Korea. Mother was addressing scores of heads of state from around the world. I'm not going to read the whole speech and then go into it because it is a longer speech, but I'm going to cover the majority of the speech in this message. I want to begin by saying that it's clear that all nations wish for peace, and yet we remain at war. If a harmonious God exists, then clearly humanity has been cut off from him. And Mother explains, however, that it is God's will to bring about that world of peace nonetheless. If the problem started with our original ancestors and has been passed on to humanity, if we are unable to solve this problem by ourselves as long as our lineage is connected to those ancestors, then God must create the environment for new human ancestors to be born. New ancestors who can give life to humanity. True Mother says this: there first must be true parents who can triumph among all humankind and become first ancestors, for only then can the one family of humanity live in the kingdom of heaven on earth as desired by the Creator. For 6,000 years, God has been the parent searching for his lost children. So, God has been searching for his lost representatives, his children who can restore humanity to its original value and purpose of existence. That is why God permitted religions to sprout in each region, to best guide the local people and teach them to make their way toward goodness. So, throughout history, God was searching for a people who would be willing to create the environment for God's representatives to be born. How would they create that environment? Through their blood, sweat, and tears. Through their sacrifice. We think of chosen people as God's representatives, but in reality, they are first representatives of fallen humanity. Their uniqueness is their ability to offer the conditions of indemnity in response to our original ancestors' mistakes. They pay the price. Through those acts of sacrifice in unity with God's will, God can choose them to represent his will. Under these conditions, God would finally be able to give birth to new ancestors. Since the fall, this was essentially the sole purpose of human history. Mother says, after toiling for 4,000 years, God was finally able to bring about the birth of his only begotten Son, whom he could claim as his own. However, according to the principle of creation, the only begotten Son alone is not sufficient. That is why not only the family that gave birth to the only begotten Son, but also the entire people of Israel had to create an environment where he could uphold heaven's providence. This, however, did not come to pass. So the Son alone is not sufficient. Jesus, God's only begotten Son, came to marry God's only begotten daughter. So where was she? Mother says, instead, Jesus died on the cross and promised to come again and hold the feast of the Lamb. So the so-called Feast of the Lamb, if you think about it, was actually supposed to occur 2,000 years ago. But True Mother says that the family of Jesus and the people of Israel failed to secure the proper environment for that victory to occur. That is why Jesus said he would have to return to complete that providence. Christianity continued on through his disciples and has continued to spread for 2,000 years. And yet, I would like to ask you this. Is today's environment of Christianity ready to receive the Messiah who promised to come again? So, Mother is asking a good question here. Is Christianity today in a position to welcome his return? Would Christians recognize him? Do we really know what he would do if he came? That is why True Mother is asking Christians if they understand the meaning of the marriage supper of the Lamb. He said, that's what he will come to do. But if we don't understand its meaning, how will we know what or who we are looking for? We do not realize that he is looking for his bride. We do not realize that Jesus must return to marry God's only begotten daughter. By definition, all ancestors come in pairs, male and female. History is nothing other than the search of our parents, our true parents. Fallen people can become the children of God, the Creator, our heavenly parent, only when they are reborn and resurrected through true parents. And the central figures who can unravel the tangled threads of wrongful history were born on the Korean peninsula after 6,000 years. True parents came to be in 1960. So, here, in front of the world leaders during this speech, True Mother is proclaiming that the Korean people created the environment for humanity's new ancestors to be born. And that their position as true parents was secured in 1960, at the time of Father and Mother Moon's marriage. And the providence by which true parents can give rebirth and resurrection to humanity as heavenly parents' children is the true family movement and the marriage blessing. So, we regain our status as God's children through participating in the true family movement and marriage blessing of true parents. It is God's dream to live together with us in joyous harmony. And this doorway opened in 1960. The owner of the universe and this planet Earth is God, the Creator, our heavenly parent. Though there are many nations and strong powers in the world, they can attain their rights as such only when they stand in the position of attending heavenly parent. They do not have ownership. So this is very interesting given the state of our world today. with nations at war. Nations of the world are literally fighting over ownership. But we have to first consider, if there is a God, then probably God is the first owner. If there is a God, and if God is the creator of the created world, then probably God is the owner of that created world. And therefore it is God who grants the rights of co-ownership for any particular people. So how can we possibly claim ownership over our nation if our nation does not attend our Heavenly Parent, God? How can we claim ownership over our family, our environment, even our own selves, if we do not attend the Creator who made it all possible? Countries can be established only when heaven says, yes, since you have done your best to make your part of the world beautiful, you can govern this nation. Is there any such nation that can make that claim today? Mother said that humanity cannot advance further if we are separated from God. And since 1960, there is no advancement without becoming one with our true parents. If God is God, and if true parents are indeed the representatives that God has toiled for 6,000 years to establish, then no nation can advance any further without true parents. This fact cannot be circumvented. And it is the same for world religions, which have worked to create the environment for true parents to be born. Well, true parents have been born. So it is not possible for the religious world to advance any further without realizing this also. All religions in the world have reached their last stop. Everyone must get off at the last stop. All that is left is for them to get off and become one with true parents to attend our Heavenly Parent, the owner of the universe. At the time of Jesus, his family and his people failed to understand him and support him, and their blessing was thwarted. They remained fixed in their inherited concepts and missed the opportunity right in front of them. This is why True Mother is adamant about not only the reunification of the Korean people, but their attendance to Heavenly Parent through true parents. The same is also true for the Korean people. Only when Korea is unified can there be peace in Eastern Europe and Northeast Asia. Do you understand? So, there cannot be any peace in the world without unity with true parents. There cannot be peace in Europe or in Asia or anywhere in the world if we avoid heavenly law. Mother says, I have already said that the world of true peace, freedom, equality, unity, and happiness, wherein humanity live as one family centering on Heavenly Parent, can only be realized when the Korean people and all other nations attend heaven as their parent. In this regard, as the true parent, I wish to make a request of the citizens of the South and North Korea. I hope for North and South Korea to unite with me and become brethren, and achieve the true unity of the Korean Peninsula. Only then can all people of the world become the sons and daughters of our Heavenly Parent and achieve world peace and unity in this age and generation. So, frankly, this is the fundamental expression of our movement's mission right now, to support this outcome that Mother is asking for. It is because of the heavenly law. If we try to bend heavenly law to our own interests, we will only fail. So there's no quicker route to happiness than to unite with heavenly law. But if we fail to do so because either we don't understand it or accept it, that is the problem. And disasters will continue to occur. So True Mother warns us, the truth is that we have no idea what other changes will take place and cause even more problems. All of this has been brought about by the failure of humankind. Everyone is praying for our hopes to come true with the firm belief that they will. Yes, they will come true. The question is whether we can qualify ourselves as children attending God as our parent. So, God's will come true. The question is, what will I have to do with it? God's will come true. The question is, what will I have to do with it? What will my family have to do with it? What will my nation have to do with it? I am passing on our dreams to our future generations, our grandchildren, who will take charge of this earth and its inhabitants in the future. If we had become one and made this earth into the kingdom of heaven on earth, where we live attending our heavenly parent, what would our earthly lives have been like? Mother's really asking us to reflect on this. Had we done more by now? Had we become one by now? Had we attended Heavenly Parent and True Parents properly by now? Then what would even of our lives been like until now? How different even our lives could have been up until this point. More should have been done by now. And yet, Mother is preparing to pass everything on to the next generations. There's a lot of work to do. And True Mother wants to make sure that the proper environment is inherited before she passes to the spirit world. Part of that preparation has to do, and listen to me, part of that preparation has to do with our understanding of her. Even in this public speech, she concludes her speech with hints of a deeper context. Are you listening to me? A hidden secret that we should come to understand through our prayer. Listen. My favorite flower is the daffodil, which is the first to blossom from the frozen soil when spring comes. The daffodils are the first to break through the frozen soil and tell the world that spring has come. Looking at them, I am reminded of how I am still weak and how much I have been restricted by my environment in carrying out my responsibilities as the true parent during the past 60 years. Listen carefully. I am reminded of how I am still weak, and how much I have been restricted by my environment in carrying out my responsibilities as the true parent during the past 60 years. Please pray deeply about what this statement means. Still weak. Still weak means still now. And she does not mean she is personally weak, but that her environment has restricted her from freely carrying out her responsibilities. It has been for the last 60 years and to some degree still now. What does this mean? What in her environment, or who in her environment, has restricted her? Did we contribute to that problem? Is True Mother drawing a parallel between the last 60 years of her toil and the last 6,000 years of God's toil? If so, why? Is there a parallel being drawn to Jesus' course 2,000 years ago? Remember, who was it that blocked Jesus from his mission? It was his family, his people, those who were most prepared, the chosen ones. Why is True Mother hinting at these parallels and questions? Why? She's not simply complaining. If that was her goal, then she would have been complaining for the past 60 years. No. She's saying these things now for a reason. She is trying to communicate to your original mind. The question is, can you uncover what it is through your prayer? Mother concludes, let us all endeavor to become true children of our Heavenly Parent through true parents, who can work together as filial sons and daughters to make God's dream and wish come true on earth. Thank you. So, in a sense, True Mother is explaining it clearly in black and white. We can regain our position as God's children through the True Family Movement and marriage blessing. It's been made possible since 1960 with the establishment of True Parents. We can believe it or not believe it, but it is not us that designs heavenly law, it is heaven. So Mother, in that sense, is explaining it quite clearly. Of course, she's also speaking to the Korean people and asking them to understand their responsibility, drawing parallels between the time of Jesus and the time of True Parents. But at a deeper level, I believe that True Mother is also speaking to you and I, speaking to us, those of us who have already been participating in the True Family Movement. I believe that there is much more to uncover, and that Mother needs to make sure that we understand. And over the next several years, as Mother is still with us, Mother is going to do everything that she can to make sure that we understand really who true parents are, really who True Father is, and really who True Mother is. And there are differences there that True Mother is leading us to pray about. So, brothers and sisters, I hope you can read Mother's speech yourself several times and consider your own reflections, pray about it, and next time we'll get on to another speech. In the meantime, God bless you. Have a great day. Have a great week.